Hello everyone. Before I could start the lesson of today, I will request all of you to subscribe our school channel and press the bell icon to get new notifications. Students, today I am going to teach you lesson 4 of class 9 from the book Moments. The name of the lesson is In the Kingdom of Fools, written by A.K. Ramanujan. The picture that you are seeing on your screen is of A.K. Ramanujan. His full name was Attipati Krishna Swami Ramanujan. He was born on 16th of March 1929 in Mysore, India. He was popularly known as A.K. Ramanujan, and he was an Indian poet and scholar of Indian literature who wrote in both English and Kannada. Ramanujan was a poet, scholar, professor, translator and playwright. His academic research ranged across 5 languages, that is English, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu and Sanskrit. Because of his incredible work in the field of literature, he was awarded with Padam Shri and MacArthur's Fellowship Sahitya Academy Award for English Writer. He passed away on 13 July 1993 at Chicago, United States of America. So this was the little introduction about this great writer. Before moving to the main part of the lesson, I want to give you a little introduction about this. Kannada is a regional language which is mainly spoken in the state of Karnataka. This story is a folk tale. Folk tale is a story which is passed on from one generation to another. This is taken from the book Folk Tales of India written by A.K. Ramanujan. Kingdom of Fools means the state where people are not so wise, they are not so intelligent. In this story, the king, his ministers and his advisors all were fools. So when this kind of people rule the kingdom, what disaster they can bring, it is very nicely told in this story. So let's move to the main part of the story. Once there was a kingdom which was ruled by the foolish king. The king, his ministers and his advisors all were fools. So they didn't want to run the things like other kings. So they decided to change day into night and night into day. The king passed an order that from now onwards all should work during night and all should sleep during day. And he said that the order should be followed very strictly. Whosoever will not follow the order will be punished to death. After passing the order, the king and his ministers, they felt very delighted. They were very happy on this successful project. So, as it was king's order, so everyone started following the order. People used to work at night and they used to sleep in day. Even the cattle were also taught to sleep in the day. Once a disciple and his guru came in this city. It was a very beautiful city. To their great astonishment, they saw that everything is closed during day. All the streets were deserted. Not a single person was seen on the street. All the shops were closed. Whole day they kept on moving from one street to another. By evening, both of them started feeling hungry. They felt surprised that as the sun gone down, as it became dark, all the people are awake, all the shops were open, the people started their daily work. Those who wanted to go to the field and work, they started going to the field. The cattle were also awake. So as they were feeling hungry, they went to the shop to buy something. And again they were surprised that in that kingdom, the cost of everything was only 1 coin. Everything was costing 1 coin. Whether you want to take ghee or you want to take fruits or you want to take rice, you have to pay just 1 coin. The guru and his disciple purchased the necessary things. They cooked, and when they finished eating, the guru realized that they are in the kingdom of fools. So he advised his disciple that we are in the kingdom of fools. So we should leave this place as soon as possible, because this will not last very long. But disciple was not as wise as Guru. All he wanted was cheap food, which he is getting here. So he was not agree to Guru. He said that this type of cheap food we will not get anywhere. So it is not a wise idea to leave this place. We should stay here only. When Guru realized that disciple do not want to leave the place, so in the morning the Guru left the place and he warned the disciple that one day you have to face the consequences. And the Guru left the disciple and went away. The disciple was very happy, enjoying the cheap food. One day, a thief sneaked in rich merchant's house. While he was carrying the loot, the wall of the house collapsed on him and he died on the spot. When the thief died, his brother went to the king and he said that, Your Highness, I want justice. My brother was carrying out the ancient business of home. While he was carrying out this business, the wall of the house collapsed on him and he died. So now I want justice. You please call the merchant and you punish him, because he is responsible for making the wall weak. The king at once called the merchant and he said that as the thief is carrying out the ancient business of his house and your wall was very weak and he died, so now you have to be punished. So I punish you to death. When the merchant heard this, he became very scared and he said the king that, My lord, I agree to you that an innocent man died, but it is not my fault. It is the fault of the bricklayer who made this wall. So you should call that bricklayer. Now he is an old man, because this wall was made at the time of my father. So now he is an old man. You should call him and you should punish that bricklayer. The king said that yes, now the case deepens. He at once called the bricklayer. He was an old man now. And he said that as you made the wall weak and an innocent person died, so now I punish you to death. The old man who was a bricklayer, he was an old man now, he started trembling in fear and he said that, My lord, it is true that I made the wall, but actually it is not my fault. It was the fault of a woman who was going up and down the street when I was making this wall. I got distracted from my work, and as a result I make this wall weak, because that time I was a young man. So actually that woman who distracted me from my work should be punished. She is also an old woman now. The king said that yes, justice will be done. He was a foolish king. He at once called that woman, now she was old, and he said that, You know what you have done? You have distracted one man from doing his work. As a result, he made the wall weak and one innocent person has died. If you would have not gone up and down the street, he would have not distracted from his work. So now I punish you to death. The old woman also got very scared and he said that, My lord, it is not my fault, it is the fault of the goldsmith. Because I have given the goldsmith to make some jewelry for me. The goldsmith was a lazy person. He was calling me again and again to the shop, but he was not completing my work. If he would have completed my work and given my jewelry on time, there was no need to go again and again to his shop. So you should call that goldsmith for calling me again and again to his shop, and you should punish that goldsmith. The king at once said that yes, it is the fault of that goldsmith. He at once called the goldsmith and he said that because of you, one innocent person died. If you would have completed the order of the jewelry in time, this woman would have not gone to you many times. As a result, this bricklayer was distracted from his work. He made the wall big, and now one innocent person has died. So now you are the culprit. So I punish you to death. The goldsmith also became very scared and he said, Your Highness, it is not my fault. It is the fault of the rich merchant who has given me a big order of jewelry. And he told me that I have to finish the order little earlier. He wanted the jewelry soon. As a result, I got engaged in making his jewelry, due to which I got delayed to complete the jewelry of this woman. If he would have not given me a big order of jewelry, I would have completed the order of this woman and I would have given her on time. So actually I am not the culprit. The culprit is that rich merchant who has given me the order of the jewelry. The king said that certainly justice will be done, and he at once called that rich merchant. The rich merchant was the same person whom the king called first. The order of the jewelry was given by his father. So the king said the merchant that now the case has come full circle and I am going to solve the case now. As this all happened because of your father, so as now he is not alive, so in his place I punish you to death. The merchant pleaded to king that, my lord, I am an innocent man, I have not done anything. Because when my father gave the order of the jewelry, this was not known to me. So please do not put me to death, because it was the fault of my father and now he is not alive. The king said that I know that you are innocent, but when you are inheriting the riches of your father, you have to inherit his sins also. So now as he is not alive, so I punish you to death. You have to be punished in his place. You cannot escape from this. After that, a proper order was given, and the king said that tomorrow you will be executed. He ordered that a proper stake has to be made. When the day of execution came, it was found that the merchant was a thin person. He was not getting fit to the stake. So when this news reached the king, he said that as I have given the order, I cannot stop the execution now. So he ordered his soldiers that at once you all go and find a person, one who can fit at the stake. Bring him and execute that person in his place. Immediately the orders were carried on. The soldier went and they found that disciple fit for the stake, because by that time disciple was enjoying his life, eating cheap food, and he was become fat like a street bull. So he was perfect for the stake, and he was brought for the execution. When disciple saw that his life is in danger, he immediately remembered his guru's words that we are in the kingdom of fools. You do not know what they will do next. We should leave this kingdom as soon as possible. So when he remembered his guru was having magical powers. He at once came to know that my disciple is in danger. So he immediately came to rescue him. He immediately came to save his life. And when he came, he saw that the king is ready to execute the disciple. He just came and whispered something in the ears of the disciple. And after that, the Guru went to the king and he said that, please put me to the stake first. I want to die first in place of my disciple. After that, the king saw that both the Guru and his disciple, they started arguing with each other. Guru said that I will go to the stake first. The disciple said that I will go to the stake first. Now this surprised the king. He called Guru and he said that why you want to die in place of a disciple? You have not done anything. And why you want to die in place of a disciple? Guru said that I will tell you the truth, but you promise me that you will put me to the stake first. The king said that I am giving you my words, but you tell me the truth. So the Guru took the king aside and he said that this is the stake of justice. This stake is very lucky. This is the stake of God. Whosoever will die in this stake first will become the king of this kingdom in the next birth. So as I am fed up of this ascetic life, so now I want to become the king. So if you put me to the stake first, in my next birth, I will become the king of this kingdom. Now the king is very surprised. He at once stopped the execution and immediately called a meeting of his ministers. And he said that there is a urgent issue now. I know that Guru is a very holy person. He will not tell me lie. And he said that whoever will go to the stake first will become the king of this kingdom in the next birth. And I don't want to lose my kingship. Even the minister also agreed that in the next birth he also want to become the minister of this kingdom. So it was agreed between the minister and the king that first the king will die, he will go to the stake first, and after that he will be followed by the minister so that they can become the king and the minister in the next birth also. So he called the executioners and he told them that listen to me very carefully. Tomorrow, whoever will come to the stake, you will not ask any question to them. You will put that person to the stake. Whoever will come first, that person will be executed. Whoever will come second, that person will be executed second. You will not ask any questions. In the night, he released both the Guru and his disciple. And both the king and the minister, they disguised himself as Guru and disciple. In the morning, the order was carried on. The king was executed first and the minister was executed second. In the morning, the full news was spread across the kingdom that the king and the minister were died. Now there was a confusion among the people that how the kingdom will be ruled, who will be our next king. By the time the king and his disciple, they were ready to leave the city. They planned and they were ready to leave the city. They said that we are not going to stay here anymore. So the people of the kingdom felt that the Guru and the disciple are the best option to become the king and the minister, next king and the minister. So they went to the Guru and they requested him to become their king and disciple their minister. It took little longer to persuade Guru. The disciple at once agreed to become the minister. And in this way, they appointed Guru as their king and the disciple as their minister. After becoming the minister and king and the minister, the first thing the Guru did that he changed the order what was passed by the king. He said that from now onwards, all will work during day and all will sleep during night. So what you learn from this story? Two important things we learn from this story. First thing, that we should always keep ourselves far away from foolish people, or else one is bound to suffer. As you have seen, the disciple didn't listen to Guru's words. He wanted to enjoy life because everything was cheap. And a day came that he was in trouble. When Guru came, he never argued with the king. He never tried to give a reason for his disciples' innocence. Rather, he flatters the king and manages to convince him that this is the stake of justice. When you come across these foolish people, always employ your wisdom and not the logic. Because you cannot argue with the stupid people. You cannot argue with foolish people. That's why it is said that never argue with the foolish people, because they will drag you down to their level and beat you with their experience. So this story teaches us many things. We also come across many foolish people in our day-to-day life. So the best thing when we come across these people is to maintain a distance, to keep ourselves away from these people. We should always have the company of wise people, because wise people always guide us. If we are in the company of wise people, they will help us to achieve our goals. But the foolish people will always distract us achieving our goals. They will always discourage us. So keep yourself away from foolish people. Be in the company of good people. Be in the company of wise people. I hope that this story you will like, because it is having so many lessons to learn. You can learn many good lessons from this story, because this type of situations we are facing in our daily life also. So this story is also an eye opener for those who feel very happy to be in the company of foolish people. If you like this story, give your likes. And I have given you some question answers also at the end of the scene. You can see with the questions, I have given you the answers also. It is including short answer and as well as long also. Go through the question answers. It will help you to understand the lesson more nicely. And if you do not understand still, you can give your comment in the comment box. I will solve all your queries. And whatever you have learnt in the story today, try to follow this. And I hope that you will always keep the company of good people. You will have the company of wise people. I hope that you all have liked this story. Thank you very much.